I'm going to be sharing with you in this video how to create what you want in the easiest and most effortless way possible. Because I do believe that a lot of things that I'm going to be sharing with you in this video maybe a lot of things that you've already known, maybe things that you have already seen or have learned, or to some degree, maybe you even expected to hear it in this video. But I think that a lot of the things in this video as well, you perhaps maybe won't expect, and maybe you've never heard these things before. And I'm going to share with you in this video how to, yes, create what you want in the easiest way possible, but also understand as well that maybe on some level it's not just going to happen overnight, and it's not just going to happen effortlessly. And so although that might sound contradictory to the title of the video, the first thing that I want to share with you in this video is to understand that what's really powerful for me is to know your intention. For me personally, what I've come to realize is that as I'm going throughout my day, if I don't know my intention, if I don't know what it is that I want to do, what my intentions are, how I want to live, who I want to be, what I want to create that day specifically. Now, of course, I have long-term goals, long-term intentions, but really I think it's important to remember that every single moment that I go throughout my day, in each moment, I have an opportunity to know my intentions and to change what my intentions are. Now, I can focus on one intention every single day for a long period of time, but I also can change that if I choose to do so. But what we can do is to remember that, for me personally, this has been very powerful, is to remember that as I go throughout my day, if I simply remember my intention and why I'm doing what it is that I'm doing and the reason behind it, it almost allows me just to know what actions I need to take, not necessarily always in the most effortless way possible. Like sometimes there's going to be challenges, but it's like almost like there's this intelligence deep within us that knows the simplest and the easiest path to take to get our goal, if we simply trust that knowing our intention is everything that we need in order to then find out which action to take. See, you might not know how the result is going to happen. The how might be something that maybe you don't know yet. Maybe you don't know the how fully. But one thing you know for sure is what it is that you want. And if you know what you want and what your intention is, then the how will come naturally about. And simply you'll know what actions to take. See, a lot of the times I feel like we have a goal, we know what actions we need to take. Like, I think that if there's something that I want, the truth is that I know exactly what action I need to take, and then if I don't take those actions, really I'm just making an excuse as to why I can't take that action, when deep inside in my heart, I know exactly what I have to do to get the result that I want in my life. And that's just the plain, simple truth that I think we can all admit to ourselves. At least for me personally, I can definitely admit this to myself. I need to admit that more when it comes to where I'm lying to myself, where I'm not being honest with myself, where I'm saying, you know what, I can definitely be taking action in this area, but I'm making excuses as to why I can't and why I'm not able to. And then so the second thing that I want to share with you in this video is to remember that, although it might sound contradictory, like I said at the beginning of this video, yes, I do believe that we can create what we want in a quote unquote very effortless way. What I mean by effortless is not including unnecessary stress and unnecessary resistance. That's really what I mean by the most effortless way possible. Not necessarily that it's going to be easy, because the second point that I want to share with you in this video is to remember that, once again, I don't mean to repeat myself, but although it might sound contradictory, this might sound, like it goes against what it is that I was talking about. The second point is that you will need to take action. There doesn't have to be anything wrong with taking action. The idea of taking action, I think, has a lot of stigma in society, where people believe that taking action is this difficult thing that has to be very, very hard. Very hard and very difficult, and that very strenuous process that can't be easy, right? And I'm not saying that I think that nothing, like truthfully, if you want my real opinion, if you want my actual true opinion, I think that to some degree there's two sides, To one degree, life can be absolutely, there shouldn't be any resistance in your actions. You should be taking daily actions that don't have any resistance, and your actions should be aligned from a space of non-resistance. But on the other side of that, that's just never going to be true, because nothing in life comes easy. nothing in life is just going to happen just like that by itself with no effort and no action. That's not how it's going to work. Nothing in life is just going to happen in a way where you're not taking any action at all, and you don't put in any work, and you don't put in any effort, and you don't put in any sort of focus and attention on what you want. That's not how it works. But on the other end, it's not just going to be so difficult where you have to take so much action that you can't just be in an effortless state of flow and taking action towards what you want. It doesn't have to be one or the other. I think that it can be both. I think that we can have both, and that if we choose to include both, we're going to be a much more powerful and integrated human being, which includes both, focusing with a high intention towards what you want, and then letting go of it completely, and then not allowing, and then allowing yourself to let it go entirely. But the truth is that, not to digress with the point here, just remember that however you feel about it, whatever opinion you have about the word action, you will need to take action. You will absolutely need to take action. That's something that you're going to have to accept if you want to create what you want, if you want to create the highest probable chance of you getting what you want. And remember, nothing in life is guaranteed, right? There's nothing in life that is absolutely 100% guaranteed. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. Your life is not guaranteed. Your goals are definitely not guaranteed. People think that, a lot of the times this is going to be a big one. People think that their job security is guaranteed. But I hate to break it to you, in the world, in life, a lot of times in life, nothing is secure, including your job. You can, now don't get me wrong. Can you create environments to create the highest probable chance of allowing these things to happen with the right support systems, with the right communication, with the right skill sets? Absolutely. Absolutely, if you have the right skill sets, if you have the right communication, if you make sure to have the right people supporting you at the right times when you need it specifically, right? If you include all these things in your life, then you're going to have a high probable chance to create those desires. But even with that though, just remember that it's not guaranteed and that you can't assume that it's going to happen. However you feel about it, I invite and encourage you just to remember that taking action is something you're going to need to do to come to terms with that. And if there's any resistance around this, I invite and encourage you just to change the idea and the perception you have around what action even is. What is even action? Action is just movement. Action is just not staying stuck. That's all action really is. Action is just not being stuck in one stagnated place where you can move forward into a different world. What is moving forward from the pain of the past? It's taking action towards the future. That's all it is, right? How do you move forward from the pain and the trauma of the past? You take action towards the identity that you want to be and who you prefer to be, and you focus so much on your goal that you forget even that the past was a problem, and you moved on. And you've moved on with your life. That's what moving on is. Moving on to some degree is, of course, you're not going to forget what happened. We're always going to remember. And I wouldn't want anybody to think that I'm saying to forget the past. Like if somebody, you lost trust in a person, don't forget that. Don't forget what happened. Like you forget it in the sense that you focus on who you want to be and be that person that you really desire. That's what it means to forget. You can still remember the pain in the sense that you don't allow yourself to recreate the same negative experience. Of course, I would hope that we can all agree that there's no point in recreating the pain of the past. We can both agree on that. I hope so. But when it comes to moving forward, how do you do that? Well, taking action and remembering that you have to take action to achieve your goal. And I didn't even need to bring up how to heal the pain of the past at all. But when it comes to creating your goal and what you actually want to see happen in your life, well then taking action is going to be absolutely a necessary part of that. But for me, what I realized is that, not taking action can have more resistance than actually just taking action. So for me, taking action and moving forward is the easier choice than not taking action and staying comfortable, because staying comfortable is going to create resistance. And that's going to even be more uncomfortable than just the uncomfortability of taking action to begin with. So that's a powerful one right there. See, for me personally, not taking action or not making a choice to move forward can create so much suffering that I have to make a choice just to be something else, because that pain of holding on to the past is just too much. It's too much pain to the point where you have to move forward and you have to do something else. Otherwise, you're kind of just choosing to stay stuck. And for me personally, it's almost like I can see that I don't know if you agree with this, but there's times where I see, for me, being in that state of resistance is 100% a choice, 100% a choice for me, because I know that if I can take an action to feel better and to move on with my life and to be a better human being, then of course staying stuck in some loop or pattern of something that happened in the past, even if it was 5 minutes ago or whether it was 15 years ago, whatever the case is, staying stuck in a loop of the past is not helping me to move forward into a better future. Because either way, time is going to go on, right? 1 year from now, it's going to go on no matter what. And you're going to have emotional moments and negativity that pops up in your experience from now until that 1 year's time. Now, for me personally, if I know that I'm going to have negative emotions no matter what, 1 year's time from now, I could be in a state of where I took consistent action towards my goal every single day. And, I still felt emotional every single day, depending on many variety of factors. Or 1 year's time can happen from now and I took zero action. Zero action towards my goal. Nothing was done. No work was finished. Nothing was completed. Now, if 1 year's time for me, this is just how I see it. I don't know how you guys see it. I don't know how, I don't know how you personally see this. I don't know how you see this, but for me, I see it as if 1 year's time is going to go on no matter what, if it's just going to happen. And in that 1 year span, I'm going to be emotional no matter what. I may as well just take action anyway, because no matter what, pain is going to happen, inevitably so. Resistance is going to happen. Challenges are going to happen, but I can be having, negativity and emotions and challenges and resistance coming up every single day. And I can be taking massive action towards what it is that I want, or I can be experiencing all these negative emotions and having pain and having resistance still come up and not taking any action at all whatsoever. And for me personally, it's like, well, the option becomes kind of clear when you say it like that, right? It's like, what choice do you want to make? Do you want to make the choice of having the pain that comes from being too comfortable and the resistance and the pain of being complacent? Or do you want to choose the pain of choosing to be a better person every single day and to be better and to improve upon your experience every single day and to be a better human being? Which one do you want to choose? And I know I'm kind of focusing on this point a lot, but just remember, when you see it like this, action is easy and not taking action equals resistance. So taking action is easy, but then not taking action is difficult. It's much more difficult. It creates much more resistance in the long run. In the long run, you're always going to feel much better taking action every single day. And every single day you take action, even if you feel pain, than when you don't take action. Because when you don't take action, you're going to feel resistance because you're building up this pattern of never going towards your goal, and you're going to have anger and resentment towards yourself when you know that you could be better, putting in more work, being a better human being, putting in more effort towards what it is that you want to create. So it's always a choice to put in that, work and have that perspective that taking action is easier, and that is doing the work. Remembering that taking action consistently, although sometimes it's going to be uncomfortable, it's going to be much, much easier in the long run than not taking any action at all and being stuck. Because when you feel stuck, that doesn't help you to create what you want. Non-action is stagnation and resistance and not moving forward. And then sometimes you can open up to the possibility that all of that stuff is a choice within yourself to break out of that pattern, to break out of that resistance, and to say that, you know what, I choose to be somebody else. I choose to not believe in the resistance and the pain of the past and all these things that are coming up to the surface that have nothing to do with who I want to be. See, I know my intention. I know who I want to be. I know what I want to create. So resistance just means that if I believe in the resistance, my life is going to be harder. So not taking action towards my goal is going to create more resistance than taking action towards my goal. And any resistance that comes up is just emotions and beliefs and patterns that are out of alignment with my goal. And when these come up, I can choose to be who I want to be instead and not believe in that. There's no need to believe in any of that stuff, because all of it is just the pain of the past that has nothing to do with the future that you choose for yourself.